Hi everyone, this is take 2 of Fragment Friday. It's the first time I've done a Fragment Friday, and I hope you like it. I'm doing it on Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantaskey. The first time I did this, it ended up doing 25 minutes because I did 2 scenes from it. So I just chose, I think I'm just going to do this next scene. And if you're worried, there are no spoilers in this at all. It's just a nice tale. It's good. 5 stores and about $500 later, Lucius Valdesco looked almost like an American teenager, and I had to admit, a hot American teenager. He wore a pair of 501s, even better than his black pants, and when he put on a loose white untucked Oxford shirt, having decided that a t-shirt would be a bit too real-world road rules challenge for Romanian royalty, well, the effect was pretty nice. It didn't seem embarrassing to be with him, not at all. Mindy would probably pass out literally when she saw him. "So how about getting rid of that velvet coat?" I asked. "Never," he replied. So much for not being embarrassed. We were walking toward the car, juggling all our shopping bags, when Lucius stopped short and grabbed my arm, dropping a bag. I turned. What? He was looking in the window of a store called Boulevard St. Michael, an upscale boutique with very, very expensive clothes. The kind of clothes that rich women wear to cocktail parties. I'd never been inside. For one thing, my dad didn't believe in dry cleaning because of the perk emissions that messed up the environment, and for another, I couldn't afford one shoe from Boulevard St. Michael, even at outlet prices, not even after a whole summer slinging burgers at the diner. "What are you doing?" I followed his gaze. Lucius kept staring at the window. "That dress, the one with the flowers scattered across the bodice." "Did you just say bodice?" "Yes, and skirt." "The dress with the V-neck?" "Yes, that one. You would look totally lovely in something like that." Lucius had officially fallen off his already cracked rocker. Not only did he think he was a vampire, but now he believed I was some sort of 30-year-old cocktail party wannabe attendee. I laughed out loud. "You really are crazy. That's designed and priced for women who do things like go to, I don't know, symphonies or something." He shot me a look. "What's wrong with the symphony?" "Nothing except that I don't go. I mean, can you see me in that at 4-H? I bet it costs a mint, too." "Try the dress on." I pulled back. "No way. I am 100% sure that they don't like teenagers in there." Lucius scoffed. "They don't like anyone. They like anyone with enough money." "Then they won't like me. I don't have enough money even to look." "I do." "Lucius," but I'll admit, it was kind of intrigued. It was a beautiful dress. I never even tried on anything like it. It was so sophisticated, with this color of fresh cream, with tiny black embroidered flowers scattered here and there across the whole thing. Not really in any kind of pattern, but that only made it prettier somehow. It reminded me of Chaos Theory, random but beautiful in its simplicity. The neckline was more daring than anything I'd ever worn. You could see the swell of the mannequin's plastic breast peeking out above. The fabric, the expensive fabric. I tugged Lucius's arm. "Come on, let's go." Lucius pulled back, and of course he was stronger. "Just look, every woman needs beautiful things. I don't need that." "Of course you do. You could wear it to, say, the carnival. You're attending with Squatty Boy. It would be perfectly suitable for affairs like that." "He's not Squatty." "Try on the dress." "I have plenty of clothes," I insisted. "Yes, and you should throw them all out, especially the t-shirt with the white horse, the heart, and the letter I on the front. What is the purpose?" "To show I love Arabians," I said. "I love rare steak, but I don't sport the image of raw beef on my chest. I already picked out an outfit." Lucius scowled. "Something shiny from the mall, I suppose?" I blushed. I hated when Lucius was right. "Believe me," he said, "if you wear that dress, you won't regret it. That was made for you." I narrowed my eyes. "How do you know about dressing girls?" "I don't know about dressing girls. I know about dressing women." Lucius smiled archly. "Now, come along and indulge me." Lucius led the way into the store, and I followed. As I'd predicted, the saleslady looked less than thrilled to see 2 high school students in her showroom. But Lucius was oblivious. "That dress in the window with the embroidery," he pointed to me. "She'd like to try that." Crossing his arms and leaning back slightly, he mentally measured my body, head to toe. "Size 8? 10, I mumbled. "The 10 is in the window on the mannequin," the saleswoman noted. She jammed her skinny red fingernailed hands on her hips. "It's very troublesome to bring it down. If you're not serious about it." "Uh-oh, there wasn't much that I understood about Lucius Fantaskey, but I knew for a fact that the sales lady's tone would not sit well with him. Lucius arched an eyebrow. Did I not sound serious? He leaned forward, reading the woman's name tag, Leanne. Come on, Lucius. I started for the door. We're in rather a hurry, so if you could get it now, please, Lucius said, holding his ground. I could suddenly very easy imagine him ordering around servants in a castle. The saleswoman narrowed her eyes, assessing Lucius. Apparently, she sniffed at least a hint of money in his cologne, heard it in his accent, or saw it in his swagger. Fine, she huffed. If you insist, she crawled up into the window and came back out a few minutes later with the dress. Here, she said, draping it across my arms. The dressing rooms are in the rear. Thank you, Lucius said. Whatever, Leanne moved back behind the counter, proceeding to ignore us. Lucius followed me back toward the dressing rooms. I stopped him at the entrance with a firm hand on my chest. You wait here. Let me see, though. In the privacy of the dressing room, I caped off my chucks, wriggled on my jeans and t-shirt, and slipped on the dress, wishing I was wearing a nicer bra. A bra that would do the dress justice. Although it looked delicate, the fabric was heavier and softer than anything I'd ever owned. I zipped up the back as far as I could. The dress fell into place around me. And suddenly all the places I hated most on my body transformed into my best assets. My breasts filled out the bodice even better than the mannequin's angular, skimpy little peaks. Looking at myself in the mirror, I remembered what Lucius had said about pointy girls and the benefits of having curves. In that dress, I understood what he meant. The hem swirled around my knees, and I twirled a little, staring at my front. My back. The fabric swept close to my full hips and draped perfectly across my butt. Lucius had been right. It looked good. It was like a magic dress. Well, Lucius called outside the dressing room. How is it? It's pretty. I admitted, underestimating how I really felt, which was beautiful. Come out then. Oh, I don't know. I was kind of embarrassed to show him. I glanced down at my chest. Skin usually covered by shirts was peeking out. The swell of my breasts I usually tried to de-emphasize, was visible for the world to see, for Lucius to see. It wasn't obscene by any standard, but it was revealing for me. Jessica, you promised. Okay, I tried to pull up the bodice a little, but to no avail. My curves refused to hide. Don't laugh or anything, or stare. I will not laugh, Lucius promised. There will be no reason to laugh, but I might stare. Taking a deep breath, I shoved aside the curtain. Lucius was lounging in the chair set out for bored husbands, his long legs stretched in front of him, but when he saw me, he shot straight up, like I jolted him, and I swore I saw appreciation in his black eyes. Well, I resisted the urge to cross my arms over my chest as I spun around to look in the mirror. What do you think? You look amazing, Lucius stood, coming to behind me, never taking his eyes off me. Really beautiful, Anastasia, he murmured, beautiful. Before I could remind him not to call me by that name, Lucius stepped even closer to me, slipped his hand under my long, unruly hair, and pulled the zipper all the way up. Women always need help with the last few inches. I swallowed hard. How experienced was he? Thank you. My pleasure. Then, to my intense surprise, Lucius snaked his fingers into my curls and gathered them into a big loose twist on top of my head. Suddenly my neck looked very long. Now that's how a Romanian princess should look, he said, drawing down to whisper in my ear, don't ever again say that you're not valuable, Anastasia, or not beautiful, or for God's sakes, fat. When you get the urge to indulge in such ridiculous, misplaced self-criticism, remember yourself at this moment. No one had ever paid me a compliment like that. For a minute we stood there, admiring me. I met Lucius's eyes in the mirror. In that split second, I could almost picture us together. When he released my hair, it tumbled across my back, and the spell was broken. I glanced down at the price tag. Oh my gosh, I had to get this off right now before I sweat on it or something. Lucius rolled his eyes. If you must refer to sweat in reference to yourself, and I strongly discourage it, use the word perspire. I'm serious, Lucius. I'm about to start perspiring over the price. Lucius bent to read the numbers on the tag and shrugged. I hurried back to the dressing room, yanking on my jeans and lacing up my battered chucks. The princess effect was definitely gone. Reluctantly, I handed the dress to the sales lady who was waiting, holding a beautiful black cashmere wrap. I'll box these up for you. I glanced around for Lucius and found him sitting at the sales counter, tapping a credit card against the glass countertop. It's too much, I whispered, hurrying over. Consider it a thank you for shopping guidance today. My gift for the gal. I searched for irony or sarcasm in his eyes, saw none. What does that mean? that Lucius Velasco was giving up this courtship of me? Doubtful. Maybe. Thanks, I said uncertainly. Leanne carefully packaged the dress and the wrap in 2 boxes and handed them to me. Enjoy, she had warmed considerably after the crack card had been approved. Have a nice day, Leanne. Lucius placed a hand on the small of my back, guiding me out of the store. I really don't know what to say, I stammered when we were outside. It's such a huge gift. The dress alone costs a fortune, and the wrap is a cashmere. It will no doubt be cool at night, and you can't wear a jean jacket with that dress. Well, thank you. I told you every woman deserves beautiful things, Lucius said. I just hope Squatty Boy appreciates you in this. He paused outside, scanning the storefronts. Can you go for a strawberry, Julius, about now? I like this passage a lot, and I like this book a lot, because it's, well, first off, for a vampire book, it's not, the lead female isn't all, oh my gosh, he's a vampire, I have to date him right now, I have to kiss him, blah, blah, blah. Jessica, the lead character, the MC, basically wants nothing to do with him, and she's, in this passage, she's just starting to warm up to him a little bit, but she thinks he's a quack because he says he drinks blood, and from all the vampire things that he talks about, since obviously he is a vampire, but she doesn't think it's probable, and so she just kind of thinks it's ridiculous and wants nothing to do with him through the beginning and pretty much through the middle of the book. But what I like about it is that Lucius doesn't ever really give up on her. But, I don't know, I don't want to give too much away. But, basically, it's kind of a coming-of-age story, but yet, yeah. And then the way Beth Fantaskey writes, Jessica, she writes the main character strong, which I like. And especially in a paranormal book. I don't like books that are just, the main character is just kind of a wimp. Jessica can hold her own. And also, Jessica isn't the perfect size, or she still has insecurities about her body because she's not that perfect size 0, and she knows it, and she sees it everywhere. But Lucius doesn't care. He thinks she's beautiful, and he tries to show her that. And through the book, and especially in this scene, she realizes that it doesn't really matter what size she is because she is beautiful, which is pretty cool. And I like that that was put in the book. And then, it's just, that scene was just kind of a nod because I went prom dress shopping and today I got my dress, and I also got a dress for the winter dance, which was really fun. So I hope you guys like this scene, and I highly encourage you to read Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side. If you want to know more about this, there's a review on the blog. Go into my archives under F, and you will find Beth Fantaskey's name, and you can click on this one to review it. And I believe there's going to be a sequel to it on there and at her site, so go to her site if you want more on that one if you already read it. And I will see you guys Monday.